Kamil, I would like to start by talking about the match yesterday.
Yeah.
You won, you beat a pretty good German team. Used to be Bundesliga, now they're down, but still a pretty good team.
Yeah.
You had a clean sheet, the team scored 2 times, and still after the match I saw you, you were a bit upset about something, and someone told me, well, there's always something that Kamil would have wanted to be better. Is it like that?
Maybe, I mean, not necessarily really, but I think as a football player you want to improve. So fair enough, there is always, listen, it's 22 men on the pitch, so there is literally zero chance to have a perfect game, and of course you would like to do some things different, and training camp is for doing things as good as you can, and if you don't try certain things now, then surely we're not going to be able to try them when you play for points.
And I guess everyone wants perfection, but you're the one that's striving most for perfection, I guess.
It's not. I think it's misunderstood, to be honest. It's not about the perfection, because nobody's perfect, part of me. But no, it's certainly not about the perfection. It's about being as efficient as you can be, really. So they say in football, if you do the simple things right and perfect, then you usually win the game. So no, I'm not trying to be perfect, but I'm trying to be as good as it gets.
Are you tough on your teammates?
Well, that's not a question to me. I think the answer is pretty simple, and if I have demands towards myself, then naturally I'm gonna have demands to my teammates, and if they don't like it, then that's their problem, I guess, because I'm not gonna change myself. I will always have certain demands to myself, so I'll put demands on people around me.
But can you enjoy a game, or is it hard work and concentration all the time?
No, I mean, I'm at this point in my football journey that doesn't take much for me to concentrate. I played a fair portion of games in my career, so it actually gets easier to concentrate. I think it comes with experience, definitely. So no, it's not like a sweat. Of course, like, you cannot misunderstood the fact that you cannot be too relaxed on the pitch. Of course not, but I certainly think that you can enjoy the game and be concentrated at the same time, really. I think that doesn't collide with each other.
But football to you, is that a fun game, or is it hard work?
First of all, it's my job. I see it that way, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. I'm not good at normal people things, and I would be a bad worker, I can imagine. So football was pretty much I could do a stand-up. That's what I could do, but that I discovered a little bit later. So yeah, I think it's my job, first of all, and yeah, it's been my hobby since I was a little kid, believe me or not. So yes, it was a thing that I wanted to do the most, but that was more or less only thing that I focus on. So I don't know other things. So lucky enough, it dragged me to the place that I am now, and I can make my livings out of playing football. And yes, I treat football extremely serious, like normal people treat their jobs. So it is a hobby that evolves in a job, really. That's how I see football.
But obviously you were talented as a kid. You must have been, and skilled. When did you realize that you were as good that you could be a professional football player? I don't think I was that talented, if I have to be honest with you. I don't know that I'm trying to say like I'm an extremely hard worker or something, but little did I know back then that if I look at it in a kind of like a retrospection, I don't think I was that talented. So I realized pretty late that I can actually make livings out of playing football, and not that I haven't got dreams, but let's say when I was 14, 15, I was not thinking about playing Champions League or stuff like this. I was just, ideally I would like to play in the Polish division, the highest division, and live my life. But I think the breakthrough came in when I was about
15 years old, I think. Yeah, then I start to realize that I'm actually better than any other goalkeeper that I played against, and then I start to play national team games. I think under 16 or 15, whatever it was, and then I realized, well, if I'm better than the other guys, that means I cannot be that bad, right? So it's not that I didn't have a self-belief, but it was just, listen, I didn't have anyone in my family that was a professional football player, for example, so I didn't have anyone to look up to. Of course, I had the highest, the biggest, you know, the strongest support I could have from my parents, but there was no guidelines from them in terms of how to break through or how to be a football player. So they were of course supporting what I've been doing, but you know, until the age 15, 16, I didn't have those examples and I didn't know what it takes. So it was more, you know, walking blindfolded and trying to, you know, feel the object. So yeah, definitely 15, 16, that was the time that I realized that I became a dickhead, and I was thinking that I'm better than the other guys, and that drives me until this day.
And then at 16, you're suddenly in Liverpool
no,
Academy.
That was
what
actually,
happened?
it's, I've been 16, I've been scouted, and I joined just the day after my 17th birthday. That was the rules back then, that you couldn't join from a different country to academy if you below 17.
What happened? How did you end up in Liverpool?
So that was, I think, started pretty simple, like most of the guys, really. I've been on I think it was qualification for some European Championship under whatever, 17, whatever it was, I don't know. So, you know, you have those little tournaments, and we played, I don't even remember where we played, but, you know, I played pretty good. We played against Spain. I had an okay game, and, you know, I was tall enough, you know, so that's what you're looking for when you scout a goalkeeper. And then suddenly I came back and I started hearing that there is, you know, Manchester City, United and Liverpool interested in me. And was I like to the moon because they were scouting me? I was like, I didn't really realize the fact that they are looking after me. And you know, it just went. Listen, you cannot say no to places like this. If you, I think it's the moment that you can either go left or right. And you know, the decision was pretty simple. You know, my parents didn't really get involved in that. They were just saying, do whatever makes you happy. And I think that was the best approachment they could have towards the situation. And you know, then I realized that, well, why not to try? So I see it more that way, that would be nice to try, and if that doesn't work, then that's not the end of the world, right? But at least I will see something that most of the kids dream of. So the decision was pretty simple, and then I chose Liverpool.
And what happened? Did you go on your own as a 17-year-old?
Yeah, the fact is, of course, I was underage, so they put me to thing that is called host family. That is pretty common in England. I don't know how is how the things look now, but you know, I was just living with strangers.
And then you were with the academy, but all of a sudden a Liverpool player.
Yeah, it was just you know, the decision was based on a few things, and when I was about to go to City or United or whatever, it was more like, you know, come and see, you know, they want to see you train, blah blah blah. And I'm like, if you know, I really value myself, you know, and you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, that's fine. But I always value myself as high as I can, because, well, that's how it should be. If you don't do it, then other people won't value you. So I was saying, hell no, I'm not going, you know, of course I'm not going just to train there. If they want me, they want me, and they've seen enough of me, so they have a clear view. And if they're still not sure about it, then that's probably not the option. When with Liverpool, the case was a little bit different. That was directly the first team goalkeeper coach was actually calling me, you know, and it's a big thing for kid that is 16 years old to talk with a person like this. So I'm not saying that they lied to me, but of course they convinced me in such a way, you know, they didn't need to see me another week or two. They just said, all right, you're coming in, we signed the papers and you're a player. So, you know, that's what eventually happened. And I remember, actually, it's a funny story, I think, 2 weeks, 2 weeks since the moment I signed the contract, that was the first time I trained with the first team with Liverpool. So that was a that opened my eyes, let's put it that way.
So at that point you knew, I'm going to be a professional football player?
No, definitely no. I think I knew that was my aspiration, but at least that was the breakthrough, the moment that I realized what it takes. And I think I sacrificed fully in terms of, you know, dedicating my, not that I didn't work properly before, but I was kind of trying to be a normal teenager and also being a football player. But then, you know, you are thrown into completely different environment, to people that you don't know, to a different culture, and then, well, there was not too many distractions, I would say. You know, it was the perfect environment just to focus on playing football and getting better every single day. And I think I haven't even played a game for first half a year that I went there, because all this UEFA paperwork, and you know, it was a story with boys that they couldn't play for 2 years, so you can imagine. So, but that was good, because for 6 months I could really improve on myself, and I've seen that the gap within me and the other player, the goalkeepers especially there, it's huge. Of course, I was having a little bit different skill set, you know, different, you know, play style, whatever. But I've seen that the gap is big, so I'm actually happy that for 6 months, not that I'm insecure or something, but I was just happy that I haven't played for 6 months, and I really had the time to catch up what they really need from the goalkeeper and improve my body. I think I remember when I joined them, I was already as tall as I am now, and I think I was weighing 77 kilo or something. When now I'm quite slim and I'm 93 kilos, so you can imagine the difference that was there. It was not a play, it was a skeleton joining Liverpool back then. So yeah, so it actually ended up being a good thing, because I had a time, and I remember for the 6 months prior to my join, I think I was literally training 2-3 times a day, and that was exhausting. So as I said, there was no time for distraction. I was totally focused on playing on improving myself, really, not playing football. But then I joined in January, so the season's finished, half a year, went back home, and I didn't really want to go back there, to be honest with you, but of course I had to. So I came back, and then I started to play, and I was playing immediately for under 23s. Of course I was playing games for under 18s, but that was more the important game, let's call it, or the year of FA Cup or year of Champions League. So I was barely there. It was most of the time it was under 23. So yeah, it was a good learning, I would say. And then I would say 1.5 year into Liverpool, then I realized that I will be professional.
So going to Liverpool at that time was the right move for you? Well,
we can only think about it and talk about it and dream about it, what would be if, but you know, I would never actually swap that experience with anything else. If I can, you know, reverse the time a little bit and make a different option, I wouldn't take a different option. So no, that will never be a regret. It will always be one of the best decisions, probably the best decision that I took in my life.
Then for a couple of years, or after 3 years or so, a small Danish club, AGF, they started to be interested in you. What happened there?
Oh well, I mean, of course I was looking to. I realized, and well, at a certain point occurred, right, and I knew that I don't want to be forever under 23 player, and it's a time to move on and start to be in the you know, in the football, really. So yeah, the interest was there, and there was few other options, really. I could have gone to but I could have gone to third division in England, but I think it all comes to the baseline that I really value myself, and yes, probably my skill set and my personality and everything together as a package was not good enough to play higher than third division in England, but I just couldn't went through it in my head that I can play in the third division. So straight I was really stubborn when it comes to that decision, and I said I want to play, no matter where it is, I want to play in the highest division in a certain country. So I took that decision, and it worked out pretty well.
And you were there for over 2 times.
Yeah.
Why didn't you stay there? Well, I didn't want you to, but I mean, I told two people in Copenhagen and said, get Kamil Grabara, but I mean,
you weren't, come on. Stop, don't jump on this hype train now, come on. Why I haven't, I think economics wouldn't allow it, so simple as it is really. And I knew that my ceiling is also high, so that wouldn't be an option.
So finally you came to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And for 2 years now you've been here. How has that been?
No, I mean, I made that club great again, right? I've been struggling with goalkeepers before, so don't have to say thank you, that's my job. Yeah, but I mean, you know, I straight away like the project, and you know, it's a different feeling when you come to Parken and you know, you see the stadium, the surroundings and everything, you know, so that's how professional football smells to me, you know, full stadium and etc. So yeah, they were ready to pay for me. They did it, and I knew the place, so I knew where I'm going, and I knew what I'm coming here for. And well, as I said, you can rewind my first interview that I come here to win trophies, and you know, if I promise things, I usually fulfil them.
And now you've won 3 trophies. You've played Champions League.
Yeah.
What more do you dream about?
Oh, I think there is always something more in football, really. I mean, you know, at the end, you know, it's a team sport, right? You're working in a way to achieve the goals as a team. But you know, I don't want to sound rude, but you know, being a goalkeeper is individual sport, in my opinion. So you know, as much as you can chase the trophies and everything, I also personally chase the fact that I can be better, and I know that there is a lot of space to improvement, and it is enough in Denmark to be a best goalkeeper that you ever had in this division. Yes, it is already, but you know, there is plenty more outside.
And what could that be?
Oh, listen, if you ask me 10 years ago or whatever what my path's gonna be like, I wouldn't be able to answer you. So, well, let's say I have good 12 years more of playing football, probably, yeah, maybe a little bit more. Then I can also not answer that question, what's next. I think, you know, it's not the restaurant that you come in and pick a dish from the card what you want. It's more what comes in the right time, in the right moment for you. I mean, I cannot guarantee many things, but probably, well, when I'm still fit at the age of 34 or whatever, and I make enough money in my career, then I'll be more than happy to come back to FCK.
And in between that, what is the dream?
Oh, of course. I mean, the dream always stays the same. The moment that I start setting myself at dreams, I was not jumping to the deepest ocean straight away. I was trying to make those dreams a little bit more achievable in a short period of time. So you know, I already, you can easily go back to my interviews and see. I said to myself, if I'm at the age of, let's say, just for example, you know, if I'm 25, 26, 27 and I still haven't played in top 5 leagues, and I'm not saying about teams that are fighting to stay in the league, and I'm talking about teams that actually inspire to have something more than just staying in the league, then that means I've probably never been good enough to play in those teams. So, you know, I think, and that comes to a point where I said, that's my job, right? And if I realize that I'm not good enough to be in the position in Europe that I would like to be, then probably, you know, there is plenty of more in football, in a little bit more exotic places that can, you know, guarantee you the money that you need to have a long, good life. So, you know, I'm really optimistic as a person. I really see there is no roads for me that you cannot go through, but well, at certain point you also have to be honest with you, and if you don't get something, it's not because they don't like you, it's just because the problem is in you and you're not good enough probably in football. So coming back to the question, I cannot tell you what's going to happen. I cannot tell you where I will be in 10 years, you know, so I'm not closing my head to anything, you know. I mean, people have, you know, there is a couple of billions people on the planet, and trust me, none of them can predict the future.
But top 5, is that now?
Of course, I mean, you know, once you start playing Champions League, you know, and then you realize you are okay for this level, then I mean that's how it goes in football. I mean, we all play football. Of course, I play football to earn money, right? But I also play football to fullify myself. And am I gonna fullify all the dreams? I hope so. But if that won't happen, I will be happy if I tick the box on 7 out of 10 at least. You know. So let's see what the future brings.
So we're not quite sure about what next step is, but is it now the next step? Do you think it's in this window?
It's not up to me to decide, really. It's up to, there has to be someone enthusiastic about me and decide, yeah, well, we need him or so ever. So,
but if it were up to you to decide, then it's this window.
It's easy to say things, you know. It's really easy to say things. I mean, of course, ideally, I would like to get transferred to Manchester City right now. Is that gonna happen? No. So that's the point of the conversation, I guess. You know, it's not up to me to decide really fully.
But
if you ask me that way, am I ready to play on a high level? Yes, I am.
And would you like to go now?
I mean, everyone would like to. You know, that's. Listen, don't get me wrong. Copenhagen is a great place. It's a great place. I think, you know, we just started the conversation when you said, "Oh, we just beat the team from Denmark, from Germany, right? Schalke, huge club, whatever, etc." I think just Copenhagen is, you know, Denmark is lucky to have Copenhagen as a capital, but Copenhagen itself has this problem that if that will be in, you know, some of the different European countries when the football level is on a little bit higher level, then Copenhagen wouldn't be just playing sometimes in the Champions League. Copenhagen would be going out of the group in the Champions League. You know, that's the problem sometimes. But yeah.
You talked about the dreams and what fulfills you. What does fulfill you?
I mean, you know, being a goalkeeper, yes, it is individual sport, but you know, at the end, it's almost like, you know, you serve those 10 guys in front of you, and all I care of, I just want to make those guys focus on their task, not focusing, is he good enough to stop the shot? Is he good enough to be there? Is he good enough to help us? You know, so as long as there is no hesitations from players up front ahead of me and they can be secure, which I hope they are. I mean, they better be, right? So as long that is done, I think this is, you know, you more as a goalkeeper, you're more like a, you know, caretaker. You know, you just need to make sure that the guys in front of you feel comfortable.
And you strive all the time, and you try to get better, and you do get better. You just won. Actually, I thought of this morning during the last match in Parken and the ceremony and everything. As a short notice, you had the gyllene bur. You were the best goalkeeper, so take that as well.
Listen. It's great to get individual praises. That's for sure. You know, great that the other goalkeepers, the colleagues, they choose me. But even if they wouldn't give me that after that year, would I care? Absolutely no. I mean, if they put me on the 7th or 10th or 12th or 5th, that doesn't matter. I knew I was the best. I mean, I knew I broke all the records that are there to be broken. All the best to other guys that, you know, that's gonna try to break the record now. I wish you all the best. It's not gonna be easy. So, you know, it's just, I don't need, listen, I value myself, so I don't need the confirmation from outside. All I care of is that the people inside here, they rate me, that our fans like me, but they like me for who I am, not for someone that I can play for them. So whatever I do, it's being myself, really. So I don't need the confirmation from outside of this place that people like me. I don't care. Like, you know, as long as I see FCK on top of the table, being there consecutively, that's what matters. Nothing else matters.
But you actually got it.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And what I was going to is you work all the time and you work harder to get better and for the team to get better, but then all of a sudden you had an injury, a serious injury. It might even have had stopped your career. How was that for you to be just put out of the game?
And of course not easy, right? But life goes on, that's what it is. You know, the good thing about it is the life doesn't stop until you die. So, and I haven't died, so well, the life goes on, and it's up to you to catch it up. Otherwise, you know, they will just go ahead. It's like cycling, you know. I know you're a little bit psycho about the Tour de France and all this, so it's the same. If you stop, you're out.
But did you at some point think, this is it, now I'm actually stopping?
No.
This will stop me?
Yeah, listen, it's not easy to go through half of the face surgery or whatever it was. I always laugh when they say, oh, he broke one bone. Hell no, you don't know what I broke. I'm not trying to make people feel sorry for me, don't get me wrong. But
you broke several bones. It was serious.
Yeah. It was serious, let's put it that way. So of course there is question marks in your head. Am I going to be able to throw myself under someone's feet again? But then you work with a psychologist and everything, and I just figured it out. This is such uncommon thing. Like how many injuries like this you've seen in football? Really, I haven't seen. I've seen one, Peter Cech, getting hit by the knee, but it's not getting hit by the top of the head of someone. So then I realized kind of like it's probably it's like winning a lottery. It's once in a lifetime. So but also what drives me in is like, what else am I gonna do if I'm not gonna play football? I know I would be great sport director or something, but it was tough, but then it wasn't that long when you look at it. I played the first game after exactly 10 weeks and 3 days. So, all good.
And you still play with the mask? You started training without the mask?
Yeah, because, well, as you can imagine, I don't think there is anyone in here that's gonna headbutt me like this in the training, and it's a training camp, it's 32 degrees, then I'm not wearing the mask on the training here, because the issue is I'm not scared of playing without it. It's not being scared that something might happen or thinking in my head that maybe one day I got hit again. It's more, I rather be safe than sorry nowadays. So, and as you can see, I think the mask doesn't affect my performances really. So there is no issue while wearing the mask on the games. And if I can have extra protection, why not? It's exactly the same thing like if you wear the shin pads. Some players don't do it, but I think it's individual.
But if you had another injury like that, that might be the end of your career. So playing with
I mean, physically, always good with that side of the face. So if they would break the other side of my face, I don't think that would be the end of it, but maybe that would be my personal decision not to put myself in any further risk. But by the medical point of view, I don't think that would stop me.
As you said before, if you weren't a football player, you might have been a stand-up comedian. It's obviously you have a great sense of humor, you have a great character. Also, that tends to offend some people. Yeah, does that at any point annoy you or bother you?
No, that is absolutely my fuel. I seriously, I can't get enough of this. I think I do believe, as silly as it sounds, when they talk about you, that's good. When they don't talk about you, that means you're irrelevant. So, listen, I thrive on it. The fact that. And then it comes to the point like, is it difficult for me to stay concentrated in the game? It's extremely easy. Like, what else do you need if you go play a game in other part of the country and they just don't like you there and they sing you those silly, kindergarten songs about your mom or whatever? It's funny. I like that. I mean, in football there should be a pressure. If there is a pressure, that means you do something right. So. I can only say thank you to those people that don't like me, because they help me actually in order to stay concentrated, and it's easy. That's nice. I don't mind that.
And Kamil, we love you for that. And I thought about it in Copenhagen a few weeks ago when you were to see the Grand Mayor, because of course it's you that knows, even though you're a foreigner and stuff, that she's a Brøndby fan, and it's you that gives her that comment, and we love it. Where does that come from?
It's just me being me, really. I don't have to think about my jokes, and everything I do is natural. So it's maybe I'm not listen. Maybe I'm not right in a political way always. The way I'm saying and the way I present things. Maybe I'm not always right, but that's not something that's been staged. It's those things that I just say because I think in that way. So. No, I just think it was a funny line, really, and she took it like a champ as well, with a little smile. So that's it. I mean, listen, I always believe if you do things, then expect reactions, right?
And being as you are, I thought, what else interests you. Could you be a politician?
Yeah, if I'm a politician, I'll probably destroy that bridge from Sweden to Denmark. So I guess there is no option. No, I wouldn't, because it's all about lying, and I'm pretty poor at lying to people. So yeah, I couldn't probably be a politician.
So no politics for you, but maybe a sports director, you said, in many years.
That would be a good thing. You don't have to do much, only twice a year. So.
Also, one thing I thought about this morning was, what do you actually think about the press?
About the press?
Yeah.
Which, give me the name.
Sports press, Danish sports press. Copenhagen Sundays.
Yeah, Copenhagen Sundays is great of course.
But the sports press in general?
Listen, people try to make money where the money is, right? So, whatever.
But you know that we love guys like you. I mean, you're a gift to journalists.
But it's not about the love or hate or something. I just think the press in general, I know, listen, people gonna read certain articles with certain players, right? And that's not gonna change. And I really, I mean, you're so fluent with English as a nation, right? Especially in Denmark. And then it will never stop amazing me, really, that the fact how much of a flip there happens when it comes to interviews. Because the things that I'm saying, they are presented in Danish, and they're completely different what I just said. So I'm not saying that's wrong, but if you do translation, don't use Google Translator only, you know, because listen, there is no transparency for me. If there is words that you haven't said, like if I haven't said something, how this can be like transparent in the media, you know? So it's like kind of like reading not your own words, and that's quite uncomfortable. I usually find it out. So maybe the good thing would be to be transparent and just put the English version of the words that you record of what I'm saying, or typing it down, and then put the translation. So people that would like to read it in Danish, they can do it, and they can also do it in English. I think that would be fair. I know that the word's not going to change for me, and it's going to stay as it is, but you know, that's probably like the con that I have about it, really. And yeah, of course, the names of the article, they have to be spicy in order to get the reads and everything. But you know, if you're having a conversation with someone, let's say, and the conversation is 6 minutes long, and there's really a lot that has been said, so and then you shorten up the interview or the conversation with someone to basically like 7 lines, then you really make that spotlight shine, you know, on the article, and that's the whole story. So you know, if you want to have my opinion about something and we talk about it, then put it full. If you don't want it, then don't make an interview with me at all. So yeah, that's probably the things that kind of bother me, but. As I said, I don't really pay too much attention to the general opinions about me. I mean, the life is much easier when you kind of throw it out. So yeah. And so our wish is to Tipsbladet, Boldike, you great guys, keep doing.
And this is in English, so no misinterpretations here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Do you ever regret saying stuff to the press?
Yeah, I mean. Once we grow up as a human beings, we always gonna kind of regret things, but it's easier to kind of like wrap the head around it if you know that what you said, what's been an honest opinion about something. Then you know that, let's say you grow up, you get smarter. Let's put it that way. Then it's easier to kind of work it out. I think the problem starts when you say things that people really want to hear. That's the most boring interviews, by the way. And then you really kind of regret it a few years going forward, and you're like, I cannot say the other things now, because all I've been saying since the time I was getting the inquiries for the interview was only well, the weather was nice and it was 11 players against 11 and 1 ball. Then it's kind of like not fitting your image. So I think I mean, I took that risk, to be honest, and speak facts and things that I feel that are inside me, and I present them to the people. Then it's easier for me, even if I regret things, which I do regret some things that I have done in my career and in my life, but it's easier for me to work it out because I know I've been honest, and that was me at the time. And well, we are not perfect, so we can make mistakes.
Fair. Kamil, we're in this great place in Austria. You are here for 10 days or so, 2 matches, training almost every day. How do you like it here?
I mean, great, you're on the vacation and they pay you for this. Couldn't be better, really. You know what's the best thing about being a football player? Guess. Just guess. They just make food for you all the time. That's great.
And they make great food here?
I mean, as much as you can like Austrian cuisine, then yes.
And when you're not training and not playing games, what do you do during such a training camp?
I'm sitting in the room with Denis and we drink to the death. I'm honest.
He will miss you when you're gone.
Why you start to drag that conversation into me being gone? Where am I here? What kind of t-shirt I'm wearing?
It's because my last question is, Kamil, we are doing a podcast show called The Transfer Team, and we have some...
and you always talk about me for some reason.
Yeah, we do, because you're interesting to people.
Okay.
We like you, we like you here, but we think you're going. And we have something we call the Kamilometer.
Okay.
And
where is it now?
The Kamilometer is actually quite high.
Is it?
I think you're going. But if you were to put a number from 1 to 100 to the Kamilometer, whether you're gone in this window or not, what would the amount be?
Cannot answer this, really.
What do you think?
Well, I can't tell you. As I said a million times, there has to be an offer, right? The club has to be satisfied with the offer.
It has to be a wealthy club?
Yeah, well, probably. Not everybody is, diamonds are expensive, you know that. So it's not easy to buy diamonds nowadays. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I owe Copenhagen so much, for getting the chance of being a goalkeeper here. And I know that I paid whole a lot back by performing. But,
oh, yes.
It's just, they took that risk. They invest into someone, they can predict the future and they can predict that I will be good or no. But, still you always, as a football player, you owe a lot to the club and to the fans as well. So if there is a time that I will be gone, which at some point will happen, of course, that's how the life works. But then first of all, club needs to be happy with the money that they get from me, really. And then, I can sometimes take my pride a little bit down, and if they are happy, then I can start to, getting more into the thing. And then, of course, what's even more important to me is that I will be happy with the idea of the club, with the money, of course, and the project, I mean, if you get used to winning like you do in Copenhagen, and I think that's the culture here that should never change and should never gonna be changed, then of course it's not easy in football to find a place that's gonna tick the boxes for you, So, because winning in football is not that common like people think when you are in Copenhagen and you're constantly winning. There is probably 25 champions each year in the leagues, and there is 400 teams that plays for nothing. So, you don't take that for granted. So as I said, it has to be the right offer, right time, and all other things. So I cannot put the number on what you just asked me because no. But I'm also not going to be lying to you and saying that, well, I have dreams. Everyone has dreams. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hej. Ved du, hvem der havde de højeste odds på FCK i sidste måned? Det var igen Unibet.